Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, September 1st, 2025. And it looks like my camera is just a little bit low. Let me bring that up just a little tiny amount. There we go. That feels better. Now I can sit up straight. I hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. Now, I'm not exactly sure how we're supposed to celebrate Labor Day weekend other than just taking some time off. We have other weekends, other holidays that we celebrate. Christmas, we understand that, and New Year's, and um, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day, and all that stuff. Thanksgiving, my favorite. But Labor Day is just kind of like, huh, I guess we just take the weekend off and go back to work next week. It seems kind of funny that we have a Labor Day, but I understand it. I guess we need to celebrate workers. I guess that's what the intent is. I don't know. I never really researched Labor Day, but that's my assumption. We're celebrating the working people of America. So, hope you had a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed your time wherever you may have gone, hanging out with friends, going to the lake. We didn't do any of that. We stayed here, and I worked on cars, which is probably better off for me anyway because when I'm not working on cars, I stress about working on cars. I'm still adjusting the camera. It seems to be just a little bit off. So I had somebody comment on a Facebook post that I made earlier, and they said, "How do you stay motivated?" And I said, "Debt." Well, I have to point out that whenever somebody asks me questions like that, how do you stay motivated? Well, the idea, I guess, it's interpreted different ways. Like when you say stay motivated, it's not about being motivated so much as it's inherent that I do this stuff. Like I've said it before, I grew up in a junkyard. I've been working on cars since I was 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever. And this is what I've done always. Aside from being in the military, even in the military, I was working on cars for other people. I would rebuild stuff, or I would help them with their projects. So I've always been working on or around cars, and it's not a motivation factor. It's a lifestyle, I guess, is kind of how I look at it. Whenever I was in high school, or well, in school period, I would come home from school, change my clothes, and go pull parts. That's what I did. And so it all feels more or less normal to me to be doing this stuff. So I know that people are not doing what I'm doing in that essence. Like most everybody has a job, but they go to work. But even with my regular job that I had or jobs, I was still doing this. Like when I worked at Delta and I worked at the body shop full time on both jobs, when I came home, I would still be out here for 2, 3 hours a night doing things. It's just how I operate. I don't like to necessarily sit in front of the TV all night and watch things, and or if I'm not doing this, and Roger can attest to this. I'm at the end of the night, I'm walking. Like I'm doing 2 to 3 miles 3 to 4 times a week because I don't like to sit still necessarily. So I don't know if that helps anybody with the motivation factor, but that's kind of how I'm geared. I just need to have I need to keep moving. I have to keep moving. So I'm sure you saw the last video. At least I hope you did, and it was dealing with what you see behind me. That there's pieces missing right now is the '68 fastback known as Fangled, and I'm going through the process of putting it together. Now, in that previous video, I talked about a bunch of different things, and I have more details that I want to express in the next video. These cars, this pile of sheet metal, whenever you start putting this together, you have to realize that there are imperfections. They're not like a puzzle that's die cut on a machine and every piece fits according to the picture, right? On these things, there's variables. And that's why whenever somebody buys a body thinking that they're going to skip a few steps. A lot of times I get caught up in it because those pieces are still wrong, but now they're all welded together. And it's just the way it is. So I like the idea of what I'm doing piece by piece because I can fine tune everything going together. So at the end of it, it all looks good and it fits. So I'm going through these processes. I assemble the car multiple times. And every time something changes. It's a fact. You can even do this with a fender. You can put a fender on 3 times and it seems like it fits differently 3 times. So I'm going through all of this, and right now I have both sets, inner and outer wheelhouses, welded completely to the floor pan. So at this point, the next step in the series is getting the sides on the car and probably the quarters, the deck filler panel, the seat, the rear seat support. I'm not in a hurry at this point to weld in, I know I'm blocking it, the firewall, because there's some tuning that needs to happen up front. And with this way I'm doing this, I can actually put the firewall in now, or I can remove it because the sides will flex enough that I can pull this back out. It's just in case, because I need to punch holes and make all that stuff happen so it's ready to weld together. Now, I point this out as well. I use a hole punch, and I have it listed on Amazon. There's links to it in the videos and stuff. And that thing is a time saver. I know that people have expressed that I need to get a spot weld tool. But when I look at these spot weld tools, there's variables out there. You have the little ones that you can hold in your hands that are weigh, I don't know, I feel like they weigh 40 pounds. And they can do certain things, which is great. And then they have the more high-end ones, like you would have at a big shop, where it's suspended on a hoist, and you can actually move it around and get it into spaces. Ideally, that's what I would like to have, is one of those on the hoist, but it's not a priority. I know that I can do all the welding and grinding and be very happy with it and know that it's welded solid. So some of this I will do with the little handheld spot welder, but at this point I can't say I'm going to buy a $5,000 machine and put one car together a year. It's just not going to not make sense to do that. So anyway, that's where I'm at this week. I'm getting more done on the fastback, and I'm pretty excited about it. You can probably tell that right now by the way I'm talking about it. I really do love the fabrication process, making parts fit, welding things together. Even the grinding doesn't bother me. I don't mind grinding. It's just part of the process. So that's where we're at. Let me get started with checking in and see who's here this week, and hopefully we have a good turnout. If you would, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, share this video. I know I normally share it on Facebook, but I forgot to do that tonight. And not that I see many people arrive from Facebook anyway, but leave a comment and a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you're watching, and let others know that you're participating in something. So, first one in tonight, Phil Manasseri. Manasseri or Manasseri? I'm not sure which. Good evening all. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day. Thank you, Phil, and welcome. I don't know if I've seen your name before. Maybe you changed your handle there, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you checked in. Let's see. Rick Gain. It's tough to believe it's September. It seems like April was just yesterday. Let's have some good talk tonight. Everybody give Barry a thumbs up. Yes. It does seem like April was just yesterday, but it's flying. Dave Tyson. Good evening all. Evening, Dave. Glad you're here. Ed Cucciarella. Hello all. Hello, Ed. I think Ed is out on the left coast, if I remember correctly. Mr. Mikey, glad to be present, working on headlight buckets and stone guard on the 67 Coupe. Cool day in the garage for South Texas. Test fit, test fit, test fit. Yes. Every time. It has been a nice day here. I've had both the main shop open up and the paint booth opened up, so air just circulates through. It feels really good in here right now. Terry Keithley, happy Labor Day, everyone. Please hit the thumbs up and like for Barry. Thank you kindly, Terry and Betty and the cats. Hey, Jerry, go Buckeyes. You know, Terry, I think I sent you a message earlier, a while back. I want to give a shout out. Okay, I'm giving a shout out to a company, and I shared this imagery or this picture, or shared a picture of this, because we had that discussion like, what is a Buckeye? And I know it's some sort of poisonous thing that represents a football team or something. So I was in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago, and let me just say, there's a chocolate store, I guess, that we visit that is near where my wife grew up, and their chocolate is fantastic. And I get chocolate there because it's the best there is. I'm just saying that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident it's the best there is. And the place is called, if you're, I don't know, maybe they send stuff. Maybe they mail stuff. I don't know. This is the name of the place, O'Shea's Candies, since 1934. I highly recommend the peanut butter meltaways. Highly recommend the peanut butter meltaways. However, while I was there, they had these, and it says peanut butter Buckeyes. There's one left. There's one left, and apparently this is what a Buckeye is supposed to look like, I guess, but not the poisonous Buckeye. This is a good peanut butter Buckeye. I'm not going to eat it right now, but I will eat it when I'm finishing up. So now we know what a Buckeye looks like, and they actually make them in peanut butter. So check out O'Shea's Candies if you would. I don't know if they sell them online. I don't know, but we get them every time we go to visit family up there. Let's see. Stephen Carter, not Joe Daddy who sucked me into the Mustang wormhole after 30 years. Yes, that guy. Awesome. Glad you're here, man. Welcome to the vacuum. David, the bowler hat guy. Hello, all. Good evening, Barry. Evening, David. Glad you're here. Jerry is checking in. Hey, Barry. Barry, howdy, y'all. Howdy, y'all. Had a nice visit to a slice of Americana, Bentonville, Arkansas, with Robert. I think he might actually be a small town boy. Nothing wrong with that. I would much rather be in a small town than a big town any day. And Sarah Keithley, she says it was an awesome win. Go Buckeyes. Don't play Coy Berry. You know the Buckeyes rule. Yeah, I guess they rule. Okay. Go team. Nandu, good evening, Barry and everyone. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It was a nice weekend, but I just worked. That's what I do. Robert checking in. Evening all. Evening, Robert. Maureen, thanks for another live Monday. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Tim Miller checking in. Hi, everyone. Hi, Tim. David says, celebrate with steak and beer. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That does sound reasonable. I guess I would have to make some steaks, though. So, yeah. I won't dwell on that, but that sounds really good. Dumb Marine, you labored on cars on Labor Day. Yeah. Pretty much. Dave Conville, good evening all. Evening, Dave, up in New Jersey. Rich Watley, what's up, everyone? I'm out here enjoying the 104-degree weather in my shop. No AC. Just blended the notches shock towers to my 67. Hope to epoxy soon. Awesome. That's good to hear. And he says notched. Okay. That is great. Good to hear. Steve Reed. Hold on a second. Let me try that again. Steve Reed. Hello, Barry and everyone. Hope everyone is having a great weekend, and everyone needs to give thumbs up for Barry. Yes. Thank you, Steve. Jerry says to Robert, all about motivation. Yeah. Chris Howard, I'm going to jump to the bottom of the list here. He says, hey, thanks for all the help on Facebook. YouTube with my 65. All the metalwork is almost done. Thanks to your comments and videos. That is awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you for the tip. Appreciate that as well. Set that at the top. Go back up here. Steve Reed, the 68 Fastback is coming on great. Yes, it is. I'm looking really forward to getting all of this metalwork together. It's gratifying whenever you see the pieces come together and it becomes a car. And then, of course, all the add-ons that are going to happen with this thing are going to be really, really cool to see. Rick Stevenson, good evening, everyone. Glad you're here, Rick. That's my sign. Time for my coffee. Thank you, Rick. I guess Al, not AI, I'm guessing Al, started going after my 66 Fairlane after 23 years sitting in the back corner of my shop. You get 2 bells for that. Awesome. I like the 66 Fairlane. I do. And another car, you know what? I'm going to talk about something simply bringing up a different car. I don't know what it is right now, but I have a subtle fascination with a 63.5 Falcon Futura. I don't know why. I've been seeing them here and there on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff, and it's a really good looking car. You know, and whenever I was in high school, I had one of the cars I drove was a 62 Galaxy 500. So I have an affection for the early 60s Ford Galaxies. My brother had a 64 Galaxy 500 as well. And, you know, they had the 64 or 62 and then 3, and they had like a 63.5 kind of oddball. I don't know. I don't remember all the story behind all that. But if you look at the Falcon, the 63 Futura is like a fastback bubble rear back window type of shape. And I don't know why. I'm just starting to really like those cars. And I don't know. I'm passively looking for one. I won't say I'm going to buy one, but I like to look at them and see what's out there and available. There's I've seen convertibles, really nice cars. They're selling for $30,000. Then I've seen other ones that are $1,500, but they're just rusted to pieces. So just one of those things that's crawling around in the back of my head. Troy Justit, good evening, Barry and gang. Glad to see you back into the fabrication mode. Me too. That is my wheelhouse. Amir Rizvi, good evening, Barry. Good evening, Amir. Glad you're here. Bob Shoemaker, eating all from Oklahoma. Drive for a change. Happy Labor Day. Glad you're here, Bob. Gig'em Garage, good evening, Barry. Keith Barth here. Everyone give Barry a thumbs up. Yes. Thank you, Keith. Jeff Norrisnet. Hey, Barry, I do like the punch you recommended. Well, thank you, Jeff. Jeff let me know earlier he had ordered one of the tools that I recommended on my video, the punch tool. So, watching a lot of rust repair videos. Joe Daddy is about the best. Most content out there is Mustang. Close enough. Awesome. Yes, thank you for that. Stephen Carter, sorry, got lost. Got lost in VVG 52 Deluxe. I'm not sure what that means. VVG 52. 52 Deluxe I get. But what is VVG? I don't know what that means. Rick Stevenson, did you get some gobs? Yes, but they didn't last long. The gobs go quick. Can't share those. Richard Vogel, good evening, Barry. Love the way Fangled is going. Thank you, Richard. Me too. Chris Howard, you saved me a bunch of time. You definitely deserve it. Well, thank you. I wish other people felt the same way. Stephen Carter got my Calverts for my 66 coupe waiting on shackles and hardware. Calverts? I'm not. What are we typing in, Steve? I don't know what you're trying to say there. Shackles and hardware. Calverts? We'll have to figure that out. David, the bowler hat guy, I always was a fan of the old Falcon. I had a 64 when I was in high school. Yeah. I don't know. The 63 the 63 and a half, I should say. I really like it for some reason. And the 64 is cool too. No doubt about it. Tim Miller test fitting my 70 Mach 1 grill and hood. Got doors, latches, and trunk wing. Now front like to have hood trim matching headlight trim. Yeah, I've heard that, it's a bit of a challenge to get all that to line up. So, TD, I have not put any antifreeze in my 65 fastback for years. Do you think I could have a compatibility issue if I top it off with today's antifreeze? What to watch out for? Okay, let's discuss that for real quick. So, I'm assuming you have antifreeze in it, right? First question is, how old is that antifreeze? That's the first question. Second question, is it the typical green, the old school green antifreeze that we all had? I'm gonna get this camera. Now it's too okay. Is it the green stuff that we used all through the 60s, 70s, 80s? I assume it is. Now, I can't say what the life expectancy for the antifreeze is. They tell you that it's good for X amount of years under use. That's all well and good. I doubt there's any problem with the antifreeze that you have. Now, today's antifreeze, they've got a variety of choices. They've got one that'll say mixes with anything. And it will. Like they've got orange antifreeze and the green antifreeze. It'll mix with anything. I assume that they have traditional antifreeze still. I haven't really looked. I know when I normally buy antifreeze, it's the jug that says mixes with everything. Unless I'm using something like a Honda or something specific that says you can only use their branding, right? But I don't see any compatibility issues. The new stuff that says mixes with anything, it shouldn't be a problem. It should not be an issue. But that's a good question. Stephen Carter did not have the heart to back half it. Okay. So you've done you're customizing it. We'll have to figure that out. I don't know what Calvert's is. My mind does not register that. Chris Howard says Caltrax maybe. Sometimes it autocorrects. Yeah, it always autocorrects and messes me up all the time. Richard, when do you expect the air dryer to be delivered? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's coming. That'll be for future use anyway. So, Greg Bartle, assuming the metal is straight, do you spray high build primer over epoxy sealer? My process, let's say, let me think about what you're asking. Let's just start with a new panel, right? Like that panel over there. That's a quarter panel off the 68. That has Weld-2 primer on it. I will clean all of that off on the outside. I will take it down to bare metal. And then I will spray it with epoxy. And if everything is straight and good, I will go to high build, like a 2K high build, right? So that metal with the weld through primer, I would not apply anything on top of that because I don't trust it. I know when I've taken off that weld through primer before, I have actually found rust on the bottom side. So I always strip down to bare metal on those. Now, if you're talking an original panel, you could do the same thing, and I don't see any issue with that at all. Bare metal, epoxy, and go to high build. Now the process, there's some debate on, I don't know what, if we're going to get into details on this, like body fillers. Oh, let me back up a step. Epoxy also has a recoat window. So look at your TDA, your technical data sheet, or whatever you may have with that. Most epoxies have a 4-day recoat window. Most, as far as the PPG stuff. So if you spray epoxy, you don't have to do anything as long as you top coat it in 4 days. Now check with your particular brand. If you don't do that, then you're gonna have to scuff it, get the edges on it again, and then hit it with high build. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. But some people actually consider the idea like putting body filler on prior to epoxy, and you can do that, but you can also put it on top of epoxy. So you can also put it on top of your high build. Like if you start finding something, you can come back and put good body filler on top of the high build and not have an issue with recoat it with more high build. Great question, though. Thank you, Greg. Oh, Stephen Carter says Caltrack, whatever they call them, leaf spring drag car bar. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. I'm just not familiar with the term. But a leaf spring drag car. Okay. Well, I'm glad you didn't back half it if you can do it with this system. So I hope it goes well. My Fairlane is a 4-speed GT that had a 427 center oiler installed in 71. The rust is mostly driver's floor, lower cowl, all external sheet metal is good. Oh, wow. That's cool. I'm assuming you're going to keep the 427 in it. I hope. TD, thanks for the answer. You guessed right. Okay. Thank you. Ricky, I haven't looked at the link. How much does the hole puncher cost? I don't need one, but I have a tool addiction that might come in handy. I think the one that I posted was like, I don't know, $100 or something. I think 120. I don't remember exactly. I don't have the link in front of me, so I think that's kind of where it was. George Burns, do you ever use adhesion promoter? If so, under what conditions? Good question. We used to use adhesion promoter at the body shop. Now we did that on plastics. So if we had a bumper cover, let's say, and it did not come with a in primer. There are times where, depending on the plastic, you would have to spray an adhesion promoter to get paint to stick to it or get primer to stick to it. So there were variables in there. You had to look at what the instructions would say. Is this compatible? Like, we'd have to figure out, would we have to use the adhesion promoter on a certain plastic? So I have not done. I haven't had a reason to use an adhesion promoter on anything I've done because I'm only spraying metal. There's not really any plastics that I'm dealing with. Now, does that mean there's no reason or you don't need to use it? There may be reasons to use it with metal, but I don't have anything in my situation where I need to use it. So adhesion promoters are typically for a plastic material that has to have something to help the paint or primer bond to it. Most of the time now, if you buy a bumper cover, they're shipped to you already in primer, like scuff and shoot. So that's a good question. I don't know if that is the answer you're looking for, but that was a good question. Tim Miller, Calvert or drag race rear spring holders. Oh, okay. See, I'm unfamiliar with that term. Ed Cucciarella track bars. Okay, I get. I'm more familiar with that term. Stephen Carter, I want to road race so I can swap spring plate and race both. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. I like that. Tim Miller, old setting will old. Oh, so if antifreeze has been sitting, you say it'll turn to jelly or gum up. Okay, I get it. Jeff says the punch was 129. Okay, there you go. I couldn't remember exactly, but thank you, Jeff. Chris Howard, so you do epoxy first and then filler for the low spots. Typically, what I want to do is coat the whole panel in epoxy. Now, there's debate on this. You can go back and forth. You can put epoxy on top of filler if you want. If the panel is, if you're only doing a small area, well, you can actually put, like I use Rage Ultra. It's designed to go either direct to metal or you could put it on top of original paint. So in the collision industry, you're not going to take a Honda fender and strip it down to bare metal and start over. You'll just scuff it really good. You'll apply body filler on top of that, shape it, add your primer on top. You may not even need epoxy on those. Put primer on top and be done with it. So the difficulty is where do you draw that line? In the past, I used to just put body fillers straight to bare metal. And I still will do that on occasion, but anymore I want to start with epoxy first and get that metal locked down. And then I will scuff it and do the body work and then add the high build primers. That's typically what I do anymore. That's how I operate. Troy, I bought the hole punch about a year ago, and I love it. It was well worth the cost. Yes, I agree. That thing is amazing. And I'll point out the one I recommended it's an 8mm, which is equivalent to a 5/16 hole. I don't like the small. I don't recommend putting a 1/4-inch hole if you're going to do plug welds because it just doesn't feel like you're going to get there. Like you start filling a hole before you ever make contact with the edge of the punch, the hole itself. Because I'll start welding and I'll weld on the edge of the hole and walk it into the center. And that way I know I've welded the whole perimeter and just fill in the hole in the middle. Technically, I could just weld the edge of the hole and leave a dimple in the middle. It wouldn't make any difference, but you want to smooth it up. Stefan, I guess is how you want it, right? Stefan, I'm going to say. Therm, greetings from California. Welcome. I know I'm going to screw that up. Stefan? Sorry. I don't know. I don't know the best way to say your name. I apologize. Amir, what is the timeline for finishing and handing over the Cobra Jet? I don't know for sure yet. There's still some things to do, and we're trying to work out all the details. So there's no rush right now. It's waiting, and when I get to that point, everybody will know because I'll be doing probably a return video on all that, and it might be another month from now. I don't know yet because there's no rush at this point to get it back to Florida. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, Matco, man. Hello, everyone. Hello, sir. Glad you're here. Okay, so Stefan. Right? Steph N. That's what I'm going to go with. I hope that's right. I was going by spelling, phonetically. That's what I'm. So, Stefan, welcome. Troy Justin, I got the 8 miller also on your recommendation. It was a good call. Yeah. Because they come in different sizes and they do make even bigger ones, but you don't want, by the time you punch a hole and take out half the flange, it's not helping you. Clark Clifford. Hello, Barry. Hello, Clark. Save the neck for you. Oh, man. I want to also mention that this month, I'm glad September's here because I think it's maybe towards the end of the month, there's a big car show. And I say big, it's probably going to be 500-600 cars. For us, that's a big car show. It's not like Carlisle where they have thousands of cars, but there's a town south of us. Apparently, well, it's spelled Senoia. Senoia. So if you don't live here, you say Senoia. But if you live here, if you grew up there, you say Sonoy. Doesn't make sense to me. There's extra vowels on the end. So if you didn't grow up here, you say Sonoya. And then the people that live here get angry with you. Anyway, there's going to be a big car show coming up. And I really enjoy it because that little town is where they filmed a bunch of movies, and Walking Dead was filmed down there. So there's a place you can go around the town to see, stuff that's going on. But I really do enjoy going to that. And then just down the road from us is a old farm where they do tractor shows and old truck shows. And I know that's coming up in the next few weeks as well. So two fun events that I really like to do. The one, I can't think of the name of the farm right now, but they do this every year. They don't charge anything, which is really cool, but they do sell like a little booklet for like $5, and you don't even have to buy it. They just offer it. If you want to buy it, it's $5. And it's just like the people that have sponsorship with them. But it is so cool because they'll put up old tractors and they'll do belt-driven tractors and a hay baler and sawmills and all this sort of stuff. And it's really a cool thing. So I'm glad September is here, and I'm looking forward to doing those events. However, there's another event coming up in November. SEMA. And I'm going to SEMA again this year. Now, I went in 2019, so it's been 6 years since I've been to SEMA. And I was so excited to go and see, just be in awe of all the automotive stuff that goes on out there. The high-end Kindig and Ring Brothers and all these guys who build these super duper fantastic vehicles. And then you have some that have these very unique oddball vehicles. Some that have one-offs, like Little Red, the Mustang, and just, when I went in 2016, the green 68, I can't think of the name of it, bullet car was there, and I did a video on that. And so I don't know what's going to be there this year, but as I'm getting older, getting up in my years, I'm realizing that I need to take advantage of these opportunities and go see this stuff, because one day I won't be able to. And if anybody's going out to SEMA, just let me know. If I can find you out there, I'd be happy to see you. I'm going to be doing press credentials, so I'll be making videos and walking around. Maybe I can interview some people. I don't know. But I am looking forward to doing it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun again. It's just one of those things you need to see. And I should go to Carlisle, but I have not been up there. There's a Ponies in the Smokies up in Tennessee that I haven't been to. And I'm realizing there's a lot of things that are happening that I just don't get a chance to go see. But I'm going to try to go to some of these events over the next couple of years and just show up and be, just enjoy it for what it is. So anyway, just kind of wanted to let you know if you're going to SEMA, come find me, and maybe I'll have a sticker for you. How about that? So at this point, I've been talking about, and I've shown in the last video, the process on putting together the sheet metal on the Fangled Fastback. And I'm going to highlight a few things as well because, I'm sure I mentioned before, this is going to have the 5-liter Coyote engine in it. It's going to have a roll bar. It's going to have TCI suspension front and rear. And, there's probably still some decisions that are going to be made as far as interior and wheels and all that sort of thing. But it's going to be a fun project to get on the road. And I'm looking forward to getting everything together. I have a lot of parts waiting. I have all the suspension. I have the engine, transmission. I have the wiring harness. I have the glass. I have trim, all kinds of stuff. And so it should progress pretty nicely, I would think. And it's really good this time of year because as the temperatures are dropping, I love having the garage door open and welding and just letting the air flow and enjoying the weather as it is. So I'm hoping this is still on. I'm seeing 51 people watching. So if anybody else has any other questions, by all means, I encourage you to ask. So the next step in this process, because I think, let me see if I can tilt the camera, is I have both of the wheelhouses fully welded on, and I'll be putting the sides back up and getting them in place to get them welded. And expect that to go pretty smoothly. It shouldn't be too difficult. Oh, here's something else I want to mention. I know I have a lot of patrons on here, and I appreciate all of my patrons. Now, I found something new on my Patreon account. I can now post a live stream. Like I can do a live like this. I don't have to go through YouTube. I can do it on Patreon. And I did one test where I just as soon as I found out that it was available, I did a live stream on it and just to see if it would work, and it did work. So I may do something more with my patrons in a live stream format, but I have to figure out a time when that will work for everybody. Tim Miller, my good mark driver's door comes. It's flimsy. I had to twist an auto body 3M inside adhesive to lock door to stay in alignment. Yeah, I've not bought anything from Goodmark in a long time. When they first started, they put out some really good products, but when they got kind of taken over by greedy people, they started cutting corners, and so I've avoided most Goodmark stuff. Goodmark became, well, the creator of Goodmark ended up creating Auto Metal Direct, and so I've had some relation with them, and it is I would prefer Auto Metal Direct if I was given a choice. I don't know what the I have not looked at any Goodmark stuff at all to see how good it is lately. I have not. I just don't follow them much at all. I will say that I've used their products for. I did a 55 Chevy truck back at the body shop where I converted it from a small back window into a big back window. I put fenders on it, and I had to modify the fenders and all kinds of work. But they did sell that big back window, which that was really cool that was available. I think that's the last Goodmark product that I've bought. I believe so. And that was a while ago. David, safe to say, keep talking about Fangled. Okay, I can. I'm running out of options on what to talk about on it, though. I've covered a lot of ground. Stephen Carter Neighbor's seaplane takes me. Neighbor's seaplane takes me out. Radar nukes my Wi-Fi to the ship. Are we having some sort of secret word game? So, neighbor's seaplane takes me out. Radar nukes my Wi-Fi to the shop. Shop? Oh, okay. Radar kills the Wi-Fi, is what you're saying. To, I don't know, man. I don't know, but that it sounds like we're having some sort of word game. Wait a minute. He's responded again. Sorry, Owl Thumbs. Thank you, Stephen. I get it. I can't type. Even if I'm typing in front of me and I can't. I'm like, what is that word? I do it all the time. So yeah, All Thumbs, I get it. I'm not making fun of you. I just think it's funny. Amir, every car guy must go to Monterey Car Week, SEMA, Goodwood Festival of Speed, Indy 500, Le Mans, etc. at least once in their lifetime. Oh, those are some good choices. Yeah, Monterey, that's where the gold is. And Goodwood, too. That's pretty incredible. Indy 500, yeah. I feel like, I don't know if I've been to the Indy 500. I think I've been to Indy. I know I've been to the racetrack when I was young, but I don't think they were racing. I think it was just an event we were at. Le Mans would be very cool. Yeah, I don't think I'll make it to that. But those other ones, yeah, all good choices. Chris Howard, how would you go about pulling the rockers in on a car that is previously wrecked? My torque boxes have a little less than 1/4 inch of an inch space on each side. I've done that before. So you're talking about pulling the rockers in on a car. So you're talking about compressing the rockers in to where you can weld in the floor pan, I'm assuming. Now, I just had a discussion with this earlier with somebody. The measurements, I don't know what your floor pan is. I've had to actually, in the past, I've had to take a floor pan and slice it and spread it open to make it fit the car, even though I had the dimensions right on the rocker panels. So if I remember, it was, I measured earlier today on this pan, inside to inside at the rearmost portion of the rocker panels. It was 55 1/4, I believe. And then the forward section here. In fact, there's my scale or my bubble level. I have it clamped to the side there where the B pillars or A pillar starts. And I think that was 54 1/4. Or maybe it was 54 1/4 and 53 1/4. So it's an inch difference in the front, narrower. But what I have done in the past is taken some, like I've got straps on this car right now holding it down to my jig. I've taken straps and put them around the rocker panels and compressed it in. Now, what you might want to do, if you're worried about pressure on the rocker panels, they should hold up fine. They're pretty tough. You could take blocks of wood, like 2x4s, and put on the outside so that it spreads the load across the width of the rocker panel or the length of the rocker panel, and compress with those with some heavy duty straps, and pull it in. But make sure your measurements are right before you commit to that, because you could have a problem with the pan. But I know you're saying about a little less than 1/4 inch on each of an inch space on each side of your torque boxes. So you could also, I'm not sure what year car you're 65. So I'm not sure where you're getting that, where the 1/4 inch space is, whether it's against the frame rail or against the outer rocker. George Burns, I hope to finish bodywork on my 66 tomorrow. Another coat of epoxy and then high build. Yay. Okay. I like it. Chris Howard, also AMD has great metal. Minimal work on my wife's 70 Challenger to get them to be better than factory. Yes. And that's one thing I pointed out before. The AMD does a great job, especially with the Mopar stuff. And I use them for the other Camaro that I built, the black one. And I swear those quarter panels, I walked up close to the car and I just kind of held it there. And it was almost like the car just grabbed it and pulled it on and said, this is right. That's how well they fit. So that's all I really can say about the AMD products. They're really good. Richard, are you using all dynacorn sheet metal for Fangled? Pretty much. All the silver stuff obviously is dynacorn. Rocker panels are from this other car, the donor car, and the dash, which is over there on the other side, it's from the donor car. The tail panel says it's dynacorn, but it's black. So I don't know if it's actually dynacorn or they just bought one and put it in their box. I don't know. Most everything from dynacorn has silver on it. So, but yeah, that's the bulk of it. Norris, Jeff, have you tried using Golden Star Auto body parts? Me personally, I have not. I've heard of them, but I have not tried them specifically, so I can't say how good they are. David, Isle of Man is on the bucket list. Isle of Man, I don't want to go there. I would rather watch that race or that event on TV. It's incredible what they do, but I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see it in person, personally. It's the most dangerous race on the planet, in my opinion. And these guys on these motorcycles are just crazy. I don't want to be near it. It's kind of like, I'm an aircraft mechanic, right? I don't like going to air shows. I won't go to an air show. Why? Because all it takes is one errant aircraft, and you take out half a crowd. You kill hundreds of people. So I don't go to air shows, stuff like that. And if I go to a race, I'm okay, because I'm not going to be down at the edge of the track or regular, oval, dirt, whatever racing, car races. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I could get caught up in something. But yeah, Isle of Man, I give them all the credit in the world. Those guys are crazy, but I don't want to see that. But I get the thrill of it. I really do. I just don't want to be there. Stephen Carter, spell check wants to change my words. I am an idiot. LOL. I'm here as a person living in Pakistan. I'm really fascinated by America's car culture, Midwest, and stand-up comedy. That's cool. It is. It's cool to hear you say that. The car culture in America, I don't know. It seems like you are not going to find it anywhere else like we have it. Now, granted, Europe has their cars and their culture with theirs, and Australia is big into cars from the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. But I don't think anybody spans what we do here, as far as taking cars from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and just doing all kinds of cool and crazy stuff with them. So it is a culture that doesn't seem to exist anywhere else, because they don't seem to have that opportunity or the availability of the stuff that we have. So, but I'm glad you're enjoying the stand-up comedy. I don't know who your favorite is, but I would recommend Brian Regan. If you like good, clean comedy, Brian Regan is a blast. He's a lot of fun. Chris Howard, 65 Mustang against the outer rocker. Okay. Yeah. Get your inside measurements so you can figure out exactly where they're at. Like I was saying, it's an inch different from front to rear typically. And I'm pretty sure it was 54 and a half and 50 or 55 and a half. You know what? I'm standing right here with a tape measure. Hold on a second. I'll do at least the back one just to check. And this is the convertible pan, so it's going to be just a hair off. But this one, 55 and a quarter in the back. 55 and a quarter where it meets the wheelhouse. So 54 and a quarter at the B pillar. And what I did here is you can do a straight edge and clamp it to the inside of your rocker. And then you can take another straight edge on this side and measure outside of those to get your inside measurement. So, Stephen Carter just made new pans. The differential was 7/8 shy on a 70 CJ. Okay. Robert, if you haven't been to Pate, haven't been to a swap meet. It's bigger than Carlisle, but it's 99% swap meet, not a car show. That's probably worth seeing. Doyle Walker, both of quarter panels were good mark I got from Summit. They were okay, just wavy, better than the crunched ones that were on the Cutlass, as you know. Yes. Well, yeah, and sometimes your only choice is what's available. Like, it is what it is. You know, if they only make one quarter panel, you just take it and run with it and do what you have to do. I know when I did at the body shop, I rebuilt a 65 Galaxy 500 convertible. Interesting because it belonged to it was the first new car bought by the founder of Hooters. And his son had it. And we were rebuilding it, and the quarter panels, the bottom of them was just gone. And I went online, click, found a supplier. It said 65 Galaxy quarter panels, or at least the lower section, right? And I thought, cool. They showed up. What a ripoff. I have it on video. I showed the video. If you go back and look at the 65 Galaxy 500 that I did at the body shop back 2010 or 11 or 12, whatever it was, they basically sent me a flat panel that barely had a wheel arch on it. That was it. It wasn't even curved right. It was just, here, this is kind of close. We got you started. It's up to you to figure out how to make it. Like, I had to use a English wheel to shape the thing to get close to what was on the original panel. They did the same thing with the trunk pan. It was terrible, but it was all that was available. So sometimes that's what you have to run with. You know, as these cars, depending on the branding, like, we know there's a ton of stuff for the Mustangs, Camaros, Mopars now with AMD, but you start getting into the oddball stuff, and you're stuck. You got to do what you got to do and run with it. So that's just the way it is. I'm glad you were able to at least get quarters that you could manipulate into better condition to make them fit the car. Now, there's still things that are going to happen on the Fangled Fastback. I've said it, I'm going to put the sides on. I want to get everything in place. And there's little detail things that are going to play out. Like, I'm going to show you this because this is the header panel for the front. And I'm going to point this out in the video as well. Like, this little hump right here, right? that goes into a trough on the side of the side panel. So when this is sitting like it would be in the car. Let me get my thing right. So this sits in this trough, and basically you can index it left and right. Like you can move it a little to the left or a little to the right. But what they don't tell you is that, like here you can see the wear where it's been rubbing, right? And you see this one, it's actually been wearing inboard of where it's supposed to be. What that means is this piece is putting up a little bit of a fight in the fitment. What you have to do, the part that goes over this, which is technically on, I can't lift it up. It's this, I don't know if I can show it or not. It's a little trough on the inside of the side panel. You have to trim that back just a little to make room so that it's not fighting this. So you see those wear indicators. That's where it's been rubbing here and up here in that little channel. And so that fights stuff like, I know, Jeff, you're working on one of these. Pay attention to that stuff. So whenever you put it in, you can only move it so far left and right. And if it's bottomed out against the inside of that little lip on one side and it's fighting on the other, you have to modify the piece that it sits in. You're not going to change the shape of this. So there's little things like that that you have to pay attention to in the process, or it'll come back and haunt you. David, are you going to have to mod the trans tunnel? Yes. I'm 100% sure of that. I've talked to, can't think of his name. He's been on here before. Bad Harry. He's got a 68 drag car that he built. Same way. He's got the Coyote engine in it. And he took that transmission tunnel and he had to slice it on the sides, which means not only you got to slice the tunnel, but you got to slice the firewall and raise it up. He only had to raise it like an inch at an angle. So I'm going to get details on that from him so that, you know, I'm not guessing. Like I'll know this is what I need to do. And so there'll be more information on that coming. But that's a good question. When you're doing this kind of modification, those are things you have to get right. And so what I'll probably do is, as I am working my way forward, I'm going to put in the firewall, but it's like not going to be fully welded in. Like I won't weld the tunnel at the top. I'll weld the sides because that's not going to change. But as I need to cut stuff loose, if I need to move something, I can move it a little more freely if I don't weld everything together. So as I say all the time, sequence is scored, right? So you got to make sure everything's going to fit. Richard, American Designers, which is now Spectra Premium in Canada, used to make decent sheet metal parts. Now the import pieces are better quality. Yes, you're right. And Spectra, some of their stuff is really good, and some of it is just not. And they tend to sell stuff that's raw and coated in oil, which is, I get it. They don't want it to rust, so that makes sense. But anytime that I've done a Spectra part, it's got oil all over it, which you have to clean off. And they usually cut it with like a plasma cutter. Like it says, like you get a panel, it's supposed to be this long, and they send you one this long, and let you trim it back. So you have to do the extra work there as well. But that's fine. Again, at least they make this stuff and get it to you. Okay. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. I'm hungry. And we've had a pretty good conversation for a Labor Day. And I think I'm going to call it a night. So I plan to be back next week, which would be the 8th at 7 o'clock. And I should have a lot more done on this with the, with the welding and everything. Let's see, Chris Howard is dreading modding the trans tunnel, but American Powertrain says their kit does not need a modded tunnel for the T56 Magnum with TCI front suspension and Coyote. Okay. Yeah, I'm not using a T56. I'm using the 6-speed, whatever came in the with the truck engine. So anyway, but thank you for that. Okay, so I will be back next week at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, again, there's more done, and I hope you all have a good week as well. Keep watching the videos, leave comments, thumbs up, and if you want to join Patreon, the link is in the description box down below. But I want to thank all my patrons again for helping me continue to do this stuff. But that'll be it for tonight. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See you.